Hi everyone, this is Darrell Lonnie with the head women's basketball coach here at Western Oregon, Greg Bruce. We have a lot to talk about. Coach Bruce's team has been in Colorado. Wish you wouldn't have gone to Colorado. Had problems with flights and played some good teams. Team didn't play very well at times, and those things happen. I guess in review of the two games, and I'll let you talk specifically, Greg, about the two games. But the one thing that came to mind for me as I'm reading the game stories, as I'm looking at the box scores, etc., is that a coach can do a lot of things. You can change strategy, you can change defense, you can do all of these different things. But if your team can't put the ball in the basket in this sport, you just can't win, can you?
You got that. You hit the nail on the head right there, Darrell. You're right. We had trouble offensively, as it obviously from the scores. We did not shoot the ball well, particularly in the second game. 80% free throw shooting team. In the first game, we shot, I think, 59% from the free throw line. We started off making 5 of our first 10 threes, and we only hit 1 of the next 6, I believe. To end up 6 for 16 or something like that. Our defensive effort, I thought, was pretty good. The team we played first, Adams State,
yes,
they're 9-2. They were averaging a little over 80 points a game. We held them to 69, which I thought was pretty good, but we only scored, well, I don't know what we scored, 57 or something like that. We had turnover issues. We had rebounding issues also. We did not do well on the boards. Both those teams we played were bigger, stronger, and their game was more of a muscle game as opposed to us being more of a finesse team. The second game against Colorado School of Mines, we forced them into 28 turnovers. We had a season low 11 turnovers. They were scrambling every single time to run their offense even, but we could not make a basket. We shot 22%, I think. First half we were 4 for 29, 13%. And you're not going to win many games doing that. I don't care what you do with the other facets of the game. We didn't rebound there well either.
Now let's talk about rebounding a little bit. Is this a failure to block out people that is causing this, or are you just not going to get the ball once the ball comes down to the floor, or what's going on here?
Well, I think it's both of those actually. I think number one, we're a smaller team than most teams we play.
Right.
We knew that going in. And most of the time this year, we've pretty much held our own on the boards. And that's all we're asking. We're not ever going to really kill people on the boards unless it just happens to be one of those games. So we have to make a cognizant effort to block out on every single shot. And we did not do a very good job of that this weekend. On the offensive boards, because we're kind of spread out offensively, that should be an advantage for us. It's hard to block people out when they're farther away from the basket than when they're closer.
Sure.
But we don't attack the offensive boards with enough enthusiasm and on a consistent effort to make that something that works in our favor as well.
Now, before we jump into the league season, which starts this week, and the fact that you're going to open at home, which is good, certainly. Strength of schedule. Let's talk about that. You started. We referred in the past to you started with a difficult tournament, the Disney Classic, and it's kind of gone from there. You played a bunch of D1 schools. You've played a lot of difficult teams, haven't you?
Well, we have, Darrell. You hate to look at things, but in hindsight, being 2020, with all the young guards and the young kids we have in our team, we probably bit off more than we can chew this year. Right now, sitting here in this chair, the 7 games that we've lost, I'm sorry, 9 games we've lost, 2 of them to Division I teams. The other 7 teams are combined 63 and 14.
Wow.
And with us having 9 freshmen and sophomores, I was probably a little overzealous in my scheduling effort. And at Southern Indiana team we lost the very first game to, they're 12-2. Fort Lewis is 13-2. I can go on down the list. But even George Fox, who we played pretty strongly with and ended up losing at the end, they're like 12th in the country, Division III, and they're 8-2. So 63 and 14 it's a pretty difficult schedule.
Last home game you played George Fox here, and we spent some time talking about you have some very smart people on your team in the classroom, like eight different people with a 3-point grade point average or above. A terrific cumulative grade point average, and I know you're proud of that.
Well, I am proud of student athletes. They are student athletes, and they do go to school as well as participate in athletics. But the thing that I like the best, that I like to point out, when I first came here, I got the job in the summer of '06. There was not one student athlete on the roster that had a 3.0 GPA or better, not one for cumulative. This fall, we just completed our best fall since I've been here in the 4 years, and we had a team GPA of 3.18. We had 8 girls, as you mentioned, over 3.0. Shayla Quarter, an all-academic, all-conference from last year, was 3.92. We had 2 of our freshmen, Hannah Whitsett and Jamie Richardson, were both over 3.0. And we traditionally fall's our worst quarter. I think the last 2 years we've been over 3.4 in the spring because we don't have any travel. Winter's been pretty strong for us, even though we do travel. So I'm really glad that we're doing the job in the classroom, and hopefully we'll get a little bit better on the court.
Yeah, there you go. We're all for that. Northwest Nazarene comes in, and a familiar name in your league, and to you in particular, and your team in particular, Kristen Hine, who's a terrific player for them, and traveled with you back in the summer. Tell everyone about that.
She's from Tualatin, a great kid. I mean, a terrific individual. Senior year over there, and I think she's been MVP in 3 of their tournaments this year. Went with us this summer to Argentina and fit in well. I mean, she's just a really good person, and you talk about rebounding. She is probably, I think, the best offensive rebounder in our conference.
Wow.
She's only about 6 foot, maybe not even, but she has long arms and she has a knack for getting to the ball off the basket. And she's going to be, I mean, she's a good player all the way around, but she's going to be a definite challenge for us to keep her off the boards.
She would fit well on your team.
Oh, love to have her in a heartbeat, yes.
Now they've got good guards. This is a good team, isn't it, Northwest Nazarene?
Daryl, they're 10-1, and the only game they lost was here in our gym to Cal State Monterey Bay in our tournament. They've pretty much blown everybody else away. They're up and down, they're up tempo, they've got some shooters, they've got 7 or 8 seniors, they're experienced. It is a challenge, to say the least, to start the league off with.
You know, I'm looking at all the statistical categories, and I noticed here's a team you don't want to get behind on near the end of the game, because in the listing of the top 10 free throwers in your league, they have 4 of the top 6, if I remember correctly. So you don't want to be behind this team at the end, do you, Coach?
No, you don't. You don't want to be behind them anywhere, but especially toward the end of the game. You're correct.
You have 3 home games to start the league season. Since you have a young team, and you've mentioned that, I assume you feel that's really good. Maybe get their feet back on the floor here and play at home, huh?
Well, I'd like to think maybe you're correct, but when you look at the opponents, I'm not sure the conference office could have done us any bigger of a no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we start off with Northwest Nazarene at 10-1. And then we step down to Seattle Pacific, who's 9-2.
Yeah.
And then Western Washington the following Thursday, who's also 9-2. So we got there 28-5 coming in.
Wow.
63-14 we've already lost to. That's 91-19 teams we're going to be playing. Then, after that, I don't hate to jump ahead, but then we only have 8 road games in the conference. Okay, we have 5 in a row after we play our first 3 at home. The only team, men or women, in the basketball league that plays 5 straight road games over a 3-weekend period. So yes, it is nice to be at home to start with. I wish it could have been Fairbanks, Central, and you know, Montana State Buildings. Not that they're bad, but
but they're not quite, maybe not quite as good as the other. And you make a really good point. And we'll close with this, and that is, if you could spread out the schedule a little bit more, it would be more advantageous.
It would be, but you got to, you know, the conference does it, and everybody has their hits, I'm sure, as the year goes on, and you just got to play them, and we've got to roll up our sleeves and get back to work, and we got to do a better job on the boards.
Thursday night, let's see if they do it this week. Thursday night, Northwest Nazarene. Saturday against Seattle Pacific. Coach Greg Bruce, this is Daryl Lonnie.